And as been our custom, the Washington Day Address will be offered by a delegate from Howard County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, colleagues, distinguished guests, good evening. It is an honor and a privilege to offer this Washington Day Address. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity, and thank you, colleagues, for your indulgence. It was truly an awe-inspiring task setting out to write a speech about George Washington, knowing I would be delivering it just steps away from where Washington himself stood almost 240 years ago in what is considered one of the greatest acts of statesmanship in our country's history, resigning his commission as Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. Washington's legacy is complicated. He is a national hero who was not only complicit in our nation's original sin, but actively participated in it as an enslaver. He believed white women belonged to their fathers or their husbands, and as much as he espoused values of freedom, liberty, and equality, we know that his vision of our new democracy only extended to white men with property. If Washington were standing here before this distinguished body, he would think that a majority of us don't belong here. Remembering Washington calls us to task, both to preserve and protect the structures of government that he helped design, and to dismantle and correct the systems of oppression that he helped perpetuate. The more I thought about the Washington Day Address and worked on preparing these remarks, it turned out this speech isn't really about George Washington at all. No, my friends, instead, this Washington Day Address is about us. It's about the lessons we draw from the legacy of a flawed hero, the virtues which we choose to honor and emulate, and the failings which we commit ourselves to repair and rise above. Now, with enough analysis and reflection, we can draw lessons from any aspect of Washington's life or career. But perhaps the clearest lessons are those he imparted directly to the American people in his farewell address. Washington's farewell address is widely recognized as one of the most significant presidential addresses in our history. With this open letter addressed to friends and fellow citizens, Washington not only set the standard for a 2-term limit, but also issued warnings and advice to the American people about the future of our young country. In his own words, "A solicitude for your welfare which cannot end but with my life, and the apprehension of danger natural to that solicitude, urge me on an occasion like the present to offer to your solemn contemplation and to recommend to your frequent review some sentiments which are the result of much reflection, of no inconsiderable observation, and which appear to me all important to the permanency of your felicity as a people." One of Washington's key admonitions was to guard against the dangers of establishing political parties, what he referred to as the baneful effects of the spirit of party. We all know how that turned out. It's one thing to say, well, that ship has sailed, political parties are clearly here to stay, but I don't think it's that simple. Washington's warnings against political parties still hold important meaning when we think about how we operate as political parties and how we operate as individual members of our respective parties. We in the General Assembly take pride in the fact that our legislature is not subject to the same stifling partisanship we see in Congress, and rightly so, I would say. But it's important to recognize that there is nothing inherent in our structure to guarantee this. The fact that we have been able to prevent severe partisanship from dominating our operation is the result of a consistent and concerted effort on the part of our Speaker, the Senate President, working together with majority and minority leadership. As much as those of us in the general membership of the body should appreciate our leadership's steadfast commitment to limiting the impact of partisanship, we must also acknowledge our collective responsibility to support and share in those efforts, both for the good of this body and for the greater good of Maryland. Each of us brings to our work as a legislator our own unique perspective, our own lens shaped by layers of cultural influence, family upbringing, educational and professional background, community engagement, political ideology, and lived experience. The vast range of unique perspectives assembled within this body is one of the greatest strengths of a citizen legislature. It also means the simple act of getting to know each other is one of the greatest resources available to us as legislators. If we mistakenly boil our differences down to party affiliation, we will miss the extensive benefits of understanding different viewpoints and the untold potential of allowing our colleagues' perspectives to strengthen our own. I think about my friend, the minority leader. He doesn't always love the bills I put forward, but he's willing to take the time to discuss them with me. He trusts that they come from a place of good intentions, and he's forthright in sharing his concerns. We've taken the time to discuss the impact we hope to have, the goals we hope to achieve, and the challenges we hope to overcome for communities within our own districts and across Maryland. Though we often disagree on policy approaches, our vision for Maryland and our hopes and wishes for our constituents are strikingly similar. And even within our disagreements, there is opportunity to learn and grow. And perhaps most importantly, within those disagreements, there is the opportunity to make better policy. When we take the time to discuss and understand each other's concerns and perspectives, our bills get better. Maybe not every time, but quite often. Even if we don't end up coming to agreement, exploring the disagreement can help inform a better solution. And I'm not talking about split the difference compromise. There's a time and a place for that. But the real value of understanding our different perspectives is in finding new approach, grow the pie, win-win solutions. The kinds of ideas we wouldn't come to on our own, or if we were talking only to people who agree with us. The kinds of solutions that only grow out of being pushed and challenged to look at things differently. We each have 140 amazing resources sitting with us in this chamber, each with a unique perspective that can help us better understand the challenges we face and better envision the solutions we can create. If we want to do our best work on behalf of the people of Maryland, we must recognize that the best antidote to partisanship is relationship. There are 49 days left in this legislative session, 35 if we exclude weekends. Now, counting breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that's 105 opportunities to break bread with a colleague you may have not gotten to know yet. I encourage you to make the most of those opportunities. Our relationships as colleagues are a powerful, positive way to heed Washington's warning against partisanship. As his words still echo in this building, let this be the spirit that endures. After all, it is not only Washington's legacy, it is ours too. Thank you.
Recognizing the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to adjourn.